A year later, McCain resigned from the Navy, and he and Cindy moved to her home state of Arizona, where they soon had the first of their 5 children.
I truly think that in some ways this is a second chance. He did a lot of soul searching during those years in prison, and this is his second life.
I'm announcing today my decision to become a candidate for the Republican nomination.
McCain had been living in Arizona only a year when he threw his hat in the political ring, though the odds were against him.
Hi, how are you?
His opponents immediately accused him of being a carpetbagger, an opportunist horning in on Arizona politics. But when the issue was raised in a public debate, McCain had a ready reply that ended the criticism.
He said, but you know, I grew up as a Navy brat. We lived all over the world. He says, in fact, the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my life was in Hanoi. And there was this moment of silence where people sort of processed what he was saying. And then there was this sort of, whoa. It was the most, to this day, remains the most effective response to a potentially troublesome question that I've ever seen by a politician.
Having diffused the carpetbagger issue, McCain went all out, even campaigning door to door.
I knew that the only way that I was going to win a primary was that if I went around and knocked on people's doors and convinced them personally to vote for me.
He made an impression because not that many people did it. And this is the guy who actually showed up at my door. And he's not running for dog catcher, he's running for Congress.
John McCain, a name Arizonans are talking about.
Less than 2 years after moving to Arizona, John McCain was elected to Congress with some 60% of the vote. A stunning victory for a man who used to joke that he got lost on the way to his own rallies.
John McCain, a new leader for Arizona.
But even after winning, McCain kept up his campaign pace. He had promised, if elected, he would return to his congressional district every weekend, which he did, making the 5-hour trip between Washington and Phoenix twice a week.
I've seen him go through grueling days, and I've never seen him tired. And this is a man whose body has been beaten up so badly we can't imagine it. I mean, but he kind of walks through it all. He's got demons, I think.
I think that POW experience was a huge factor in his life, in that he now feels this need to not waste any time.
I would like to see some specific recommendations made by you.
As his colleagues in Congress soon learned, McCain was not your typical go-along, get-along politician.
Please do that in writing to the committee.
Yes, sir.
He's very impatient, very short-tempered. You get the feeling that he judges himself by a certain standard, and in part judges the world by that standard too. And he can really get angry. I've seen him just rip holes in people.
A great question. And anybody who believes...
McCain has also been known to break with his party on issues he feels strongly about. For instance, in 1983, he was one of the few House Republicans to oppose President Reagan's deployment of Marines to Beirut.
Most unspeakable kind.
He was loudly denounced by party loyalists until October of that year, when terrorists bombed the Marine barracks in Beirut, killing 241 Americans. McCain was sadly vindicated. After getting re-elected to Congress in 1984, McCain got word that Barry Goldwater, the longtime Arizona senator, was retiring. It was just the opening McCain had been waiting for.
I will be a candidate to serve the people of Arizona in the United States Senate in 1986.
When he first arrived in Arizona, no one even knew his name. But just 4 years later, John McCain was a front-runner in the race for the U.S. Senate.
Thank you so much.